Hey everybody, welcome to another Leap live stream. I know we haven't done one of these in a moment, but we couldn't be more excited to be here. It is a beautiful day here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, a perfect day to be in the studio and talking to you about some of the cool stuff we've done with Leap. I have with me Tim. You know Tim from some of our other videos and as being the founder of Leap. He's here. We're going to be talking about a lot of updates that have been going on in the past 6 to 8 months, some of the stuff that's going to be upcoming, and of course the thing that no, you're all here because you want to watch a great live stream, not because of the giveaway that we're going to be announcing or anything like that.
Very cool.
Anyway, Tim, thanks for being here, bud.
My pleasure.
What's new in your life around Leap?
Well, we are finally shipping, which makes life very exciting around the office. We're doing our best to get as much information out there to customers. Feedback, I've got a lot of questions that I'm answering via social media continuously. I mean, I'm talking all night long. Still working on new products, still getting everything going for the future. Working on new sizes, working on new
countries.
Hopefully new countries for distribution and export. Canada, we've got our eyes on you. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of work in general, and unlike before the launch when we didn't have any of that side, kind of sales side of work to do, we could focus entirely on marketing. Things are a little different now, but we are absolutely looking to get full into the steam of weekly videos, infotainment, and having some fun.
And we'll tell you all about that in the next couple segments. But what we really wanted to do is, now that Leap is live, that's why we called this the Leap is live stream. Aren't we clever? Yes. The whole reason we called it that is because we want to introduce some of the people that are now working with the Leap team, especially in the marketing and the forward-facing department, the people that you guys get to see regularly, the people you get to talk to. And we want to introduce you to them. You've met Tim and I. You've met a few of the other people that Leap associates with, like Frank Payne. And we want to show you the people that are really working hard every single day to make Leap as great as it can be. So, Tim, I'm going to get rid of you until later.
All right.
First up, we're going to bring up Cade. Nope, we're going to bring David first. My bad.
Hey.
And David is the guy that has been truly behind the scenes the entire time making these videos. He is our camera guy. He is our editor. He has worked really, really hard, and you've seen him mentioned probably in some of our videos, but David, get up here. We had to get him off the computer. So we're going to be stuck on this shot right now because David's not running the cameras here. But David.
How you doing?
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too.
So normally David is behind the camera, and when I asked him to come up in front of the camera, he said, heck no, I'm not doing that. So I said, perfect, we're doing it. David, tell me what got you into Leap. Tell me what you're excited about with Leap.
So I started here machining downstairs. I had an interest in cameras, taking pictures actually. And one day Jack came up and he was like, can you film? And I thought, I don't know, a video is just a bunch of pictures, so probably. And we came up and made a video.
And then we got super excited.
Yeah, and it just worked out great. Like, we started small, and now we're doing these kinds of things, and it really only seems like an uptrend, and it's really exciting.
So a lot of the videos you're going to be seeing coming up, not only is David going to be producing, he's come up with some great video ideas. If you do, he's leap.dave on Instagram. If you have ideas for videos, pitch it to him, pitch it to all of us, and I'm going to say that as every single person comes up here. If you have ideas for stuff you want to see in video, tell this guy right here.
DM me.
We'll make it happen. Yes, DM. So back to the computer. He's going to run the rest of the live stream, and I'm going to introduce the rest of the team here. So we do have Cade now, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and everything else as soon as David gets back to his seat. Cade?
How are you, Jack?
Hey, bud. So Cade, tell us your role here at Leap.
Yeah, I am part of the marketing team. I also am the customer service liaison. I kind of help out, do a lot of product videos. So you're going to see a lot of the product build videos, the how-to videos too as well. If you have a habitat and watch the video, we have a build of the habitat, which I think turned out very well, thanks to David, who you just met a little bit ago. But yeah, Mr. Setup, Fogger Setup, and hopefully more exciting things in the near future.
So what were you doing prior to doing the setup videos and kind of the marketing side of things? What are you bringing from what you were doing before into the Leap world, if you will?
Yeah, so I was part of customer service when I first started with Ecotech Marine, a company Tim Marks helped found it 5 years ago now, and then started doing videos for them, Aqualumination, doing a lot of those YouTube videos, and just bringing over that customer connection.
Sure.
Comparing products, showing how easy it is to set up, trying to keep them simple too as well. If they come up with crazy ideas, simplify it a little bit, but
take Tim's crazy engineer ideas, combine it with customer input, and make it into something that really works well as a whole thing. So in the future, watch for more of your how-to videos. He takes the written instructions and the stuff and actually turns it into something that's super useful. If you're anything like me, I don't really read instructions. I pretty much just go on YouTube, type in my problem, and see what happens. So Cade, thanks man.
Yeah,
can't wait to see more of your stuff in the future.
Sure.
Now let's meet some of the fantastic women we have here in the office. And one of them you've already met through some of our other stuff, Kelsey, but we're gonna bring up the newest face to the Leap marketing team, Sarah. And you may have seen her face in publications such as the homepage of the website and on our Instagram. Everyone's Sarah Bressler. Thanks for joining.
Of course.
So what got you into Leap? When did you start? Give me the rundown.
So Kelsey had 2 leopard geckos on her desk, and she was like, would you like one? And absolutely, positively yes. I'm a huge animal lover. But it's been really nice to be under the wings of Jack, Tim, David, Cade, and Kelsey. Since I'm the newest person at Ecotech/AI/Leap, everyone has immense amounts of knowledge compared to me. So it's been really nice to learn from everybody, learn from videos, and while you guys are learning about the products, I'm also learning. So.
And so, sorry, not to.
No, it's okay.
So what are you doing specifically with? So you do the same thing for all the brands,
yes,
right? And that is?
I'm a social media coordinator / marketing specialist. So if you message in, there's a chance that you might get a message from all of us with Leap, but it's primarily me and Kelsey, and Jack, Tim, David, everyone else will pop in when needed.
So if you message us on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or any social, this is going to be the person you talk to on the other end. And if you have any awesome ideas, I know I said it once, I'm going to keep saying it for pretty much everyone up here because that's the point of this. If you have awesome ideas, whether it be video ideas, whether it be product ideas, she will make sure it gets to us and in the absolute quickest, best way we can. Thank you for managing all of that.
Of course.
Be sure to look out for more of her on all of our stuff here in the future. And last, and certainly not least, everyone's favorite in terms of keeping the absolute best animals here in the Leap Lab and a myriad of other jobs.
You're so kind.
Kelsey. Well, only on days that end in Y. Kelsey's up here. Kelsey, in your words, I know that we've introduced you a little bit before. Who are you? What do you do?
All right, so I've been with Leap for 5 years. I am the animal husbandry specialist. I get to take care of the reptile room, but I also have a big hand in the marketing as well. So I run my Leap.Kelsey account, but then me and Sarah also go at it for the Leap Habitats account.
And you do fantastic work down in the reptile room.
Thank you.
And show it off to everyone better than I think I could take pictures of any animal whatsoever. Every time I want to take a picture of an animal, it ends up looking like when I take pictures of food and you're like super excited to eat it, and then it just doesn't.
When you look back.
And then Kelsey's there, and she's like the one who, if she had a food blog, it would be like, oh my god, I gotta eat that. And it's just like a Taco Bell taco. But in this case, it's Fans and Reptiles, and her stuff is amazing. If you're not following her already, Leap.Kelsey. Kelsey, you're gonna kind of provide the segue here into our next little section. What have you been up to the most in the reptile room?
All right, so we moved to this new facility maybe like a year and a half ago. And slowly we've been getting everything transferred into Leap Habitats, and it has not been, very quick because we have a lot of animals, but everything is so beautiful. The plants are doing so well in our substrate. I cannot talk about it enough. And yeah, I think we finally have everything that we want moved over into Leap Habitats in them. So.
What do you see as kind of the next stage? I mean, everything's in Leap. We've got a pretty good setup running in terms of all the environmental 5-parameter controls. Right. What do you see next?
I mean, I am just cruising in the room now. We like breeding, we like seeing the different genetics that come out of different pairs, what they look like, lineages. So I don't know what Tim has in store for what's coming in the future, but for the reptile room, we're kind of just cruising at a really nice place.
Maybe seeing some lineage stuff and things of that nature.
Yep.
All right, awesome. So I kind of teased it there, but the big thing that we wanted to show you, we know everybody loves reptile room walkthroughs.
Yep.
In fact, when I started getting into Leap, right, like you said, about a year ago, Tim and I sat down and watched a ton of reptile room walkthroughs, basically as like, okay, how do we make ours awesome? How do we make it the best? And we have the big update of everything Kelsey just said. All the stuff is now Leap, and we can't wait to show you. So we're gonna do a reptile room walkthrough that we showed earlier. David filmed it. Tim and I go through and show you some new animals, some breeding that you mentioned that is just
Out of this world.
it's gone insanely well. Plant growth that looks like it's been a jungle and it's only been done for about 2 months.
Yep.
Lots of cool stuff. So if David's ready, I'll get the thumbs up and we're gonna transition over to that. We'll see you back here where we talk about the giveaway stuff, which I know you're all excited to see. So see you guys soon.
The Leap Lab. So we're here today in the midst of our live stream because there have been a lot of updates in the Leap Lab, specifically since we started selling Leap products online. And that's kind of the whole point of the live stream in general, like we talked about, is to really introduce you to all of this stuff now that you can actually get it and not that it's just us talking about it. And the big changes are that we've basically converted everything here in the reptile room to Leap products. And we're really excited about it because it really showed us exactly what we can do with Leap and how it works in real life. So Tim has been the one that has really converted everything along with Kelsey, and he's gonna be able to tell us the most about it. So we're gonna talk to Tim a little bit about some of the updates since the last time we did a walkthrough video, and we're gonna talk about some of the things that he's really found success with that may help you with your Leap habitats.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
let's start with what we have behind us. Now, if you watch our other walkthrough video, we had a few habitats set up for the Wilsii, and now it has expanded in a really big way. So Tim, tell us a little bit about the expansion and what you've done.
So we've got 2 Baker's racks at this point full of Wilsii, and we've got a somewhat even mix of males and females at this stage. It being May now, we're about 2 to 4 weeks, excuse me, 2 to 4 weeks into having pulled them out of their winter cool down. And so we're hoping to see breeding activity with this species at this stage. Last week we began to introduce males to females, and have not had a female be receptive yet, but this is the kind of thing that you have to do every day because moods change, and we could probably at some point show you that. But what I want to really focus on in the beginning at least is the fact that these terrariums have now been set up for maybe about 6 weeks or so, some closer to 4 weeks. And what's most amazing to me is the amount of plant growth and root development that have happened inside of these terrariums. If you look at all of them, you'll see that they're all incredibly flush with plant life, and that really helps the animals feel at home and feel comfortable. We have a lot of focus on 3-dimensional climbing space, so you've got sticks going up, sticks coming forward, plants that have grown through them, and that enables the animal to find its own perfect niche microclimate, whether he's at the top of the terrarium or down at the bottom of the terrarium. We had a female Wilsii, one of these girls, lay eggs inside of the terrarium.
That's really,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, last time I think we checked in on the Wilsii, you were having a little success with breeding. You were getting some eggs for the first time. Are you seeing more of that now?
So we got about 20 to 25 eggs from about 3 females, but that was right after import. And then and we did see some captive breeding too, right after import. But then we did cool them down to introduce their wintering period. And now, like I said, we're bringing the temperatures back up. And so right now in the room, we can certainly tell it's probably about 75 degrees and the humidity is up there, so we're feeling it. But during the hottest part of summer, this room will get about 78 degrees or so. And during those periods of time, we're very careful to not over illuminate the enclosures, because if the room is at 78, inside the enclosures can be a few degrees warmer than that. And with all the animals we keep, we consider 80 degrees to be a hard cut, where we do not want to go above that temperature.
Right.
Yes, they can tolerate maybe 82 degrees, especially for short periods of time, but the less you do that, the better you are.
And we'll get into the controller and how the room's controlled in just a minute. But let's talk about the 2 things you mentioned there that relate specifically to what we've done with Leap products and updating our cages and habitats to Leap stuff. And that, you mentioned the plant growth, so let's start with that. What have we been using? It's been this Leap Living Earth, available on the website, obviously. what do you think the key to success with that particular substrate is compared to any substrate you've? I mean, I've been watching this now for 2 years.
Yep.
From the old building, the old reptile room, to this one, to the upgrades to Leap and everything, and even me as a novice in this, honestly, the plant growth is a lot better. What do you think the key to success is?
Yeah, we were using a ABG, standard ABG mix. Okay. So peat moss, charcoal, tree fern root, ground tree fern root, and milled sphagnum.
Okay.
Like very much a standard generic ABG mix. And it was okay. It was not what we're seeing currently, and I think the reason for that is the lack of any kind of additional organics in the mix with an ABG mix, where you can't actually get further breakdown. Pretty much everything is somewhat already.
It's kind of in the state it's going to be.
Yeah, and it works well for potted plants.
Okay.
It's the right consistency for drainage, etc. It works well for potted plants because you're going to add in secondary fertilizers. But in the reptile world, we often kind of neglect that, or we assume that our our animals and insects will be the supplemental fertilizer. The issue is that when you first set up the terrarium, there's just not enough of that in the substrate.
You know, coming from the aquarium world, which obviously you have a ton of experience in, it's kind of like when you put your aquarium together, you can't just necessarily throw your fish in and expect everything to be happy. You have to cycle the terrarium, you have to get everything set up and working. And this kind of helps jumpstart that process, right? I mean, in an equivalent way.
Yeah, it does. It's exactly what it does. We're getting some misting going on right now, which will end momentarily in case you can hear it. But yeah, I mean, when we set up these Leap terrariums, they've already got leaf litter built into the living earth substrate. And so what we see, so long as the substrate is maintained at a reasonable moisture content, what we see is the plants immediately start to send roots out and establish themselves, and there's not a long shock period where you have to be very careful about how much water to add, because the plants are getting what they need from the get-go, and the result is very, very rapid plant growth. Like during the first 4 weeks, you will see rapid plant growth so long as you're providing adequate lighting.
Which, you just segued the segue that I was going to segue. Yep. With the lighting, have you noticed that helping?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we have been using Leap LEDs and T5s for a while, but with the combination of the living earth acting as a nutrient source for the plants to grow, combined with the LED and T5 lighting, we are getting just tremendous, tremendous growth, and most importantly, healthy plants, really healthy plants.
And I think the last time we did the walkthrough, we were still using a combination. I don't think it was all Leap stuff yet.
No, we were still phasing in our own product line to replace absolutely everything. And in fact, some of those terrariums over there, where we have our Uroplatus fantasticus, the satanic leaf-tailed gecko, they were set up with the ABG mix, and we pulled everything and replanted all of these. So each one of these terrariums has a breeding pair of fantasticus inside them. And as of 2 weeks ago, we started, that one's written by my daughter, Kennedy. As of 2 weeks ago, we started our Easter egg hunts, as we call them, and we've been finding eggs. So we will do that probably 3 times a week ongoing. And all we do is open up the cage and sift around in the leaf litter, because they do tend to lay it toward the front. We always have the leaf litter toward the front of the cage. And they do tend to lay the eggs under the leaf litter. So if you have the leaf litter in front, you don't have to dig very far.
I think it's also been helpful too, going to the front open doors versus the slide tops.
Yeah, and what I want to show you guys is, first of all, consider just the root development in the front of the habitat through the liner itself. And you can just see the roots are absolutely everywhere. And in many of the terrariums, you will see extensive root growth along the top surface of the substrate as well. Like for example, down here, you can see very extensive and healthy root growth all along the top of the substrate.
So let's talk about, we talked about the plants and how they're doing, which obviously if you're going to do a bioactive terrarium, you need to have healthy, good, growing plants.
Yep, they're your indicator of health for the overall terrarium in general. If the substrate looks healthy, smells healthy, if the moisture content of the substrate is appropriate, and your plants are flourishing, then your
You got it
animal,
healthy.
yeah, your animal has what it needs.
Let's talk about the animals themselves a little bit,
Sure.
because if the habitats have been flourishing, my guess is that our animals are doing well. How have we been doing in the past, I don't know, 4 months with breeding and with animal development?
We've been continuing to hatch out more Fantasticus. Yep, these are singles, so they'll be anything from, you know, a semi-full grown animal
Let's say, pull out that one you showed me earlier.
Yeah, so to a smaller, I can show you this guy here. So this is a female, and she has small lichen pattern on her back, a little bit of fuchsia, and she's nestled up. That would be about the average size Fantasticus that we keep in these smaller single enclosures. You can see that we set up these enclosures too, with a small drainage layer, a screen, and the living earth substrate on top. And here's an example of a really beautiful male. We call this our dragon line. And they are absolutely spectacular.
How many have we
Complete with
hatched
red
recently?
bellies. Oh gosh, I mean, we continue to have 2 fants or so hatch every week or 2 weeks. It did slow down during the winter season. I think we'll have to go through some of our.
too in the winter, right?
We do. We always cool down. So we stopped getting eggs, most importantly.
Sure.
But that has now started again. I think we do. Kelsey and I will go through our incubator and start looking at each of the eggs in there, because I think it's possible that some of the eggs in our incubator are now kind of past their hatch date.
Sure.
So it's possible that perhaps during the incubation period, the substrate dried out too much. We would go over our notes, examine what's going on, and readdress that for this year so that
Sure.
we don't have that. I would like to see 100% of our eggs hatch out year over year. It's definitely room for improvement if we have eggs not hatching.
Right. Let's keep going with animals here. For those who haven't seen the Wilsii, they're really cool. We don't have a full video on Wilsii. We'll be doing that soon.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Now that we're having really good success with them, let's just show you one real quick.
Yep. So Wilsii, or Canopy Chameleon, is a small species of chameleon from the Andasi Bay region of eastern Madagascar. So this is a female. Now this particular female actually, and this is common for import Wilsii, this particular female was suffering, and you can kind of see perhaps there, was suffering from an upper respiratory infection. And we have learned that treatment with Baytril is extremely effective for curing that up with Wilsii.
In combination with a healthy environment.
Yep, absolutely, which does mean maintaining adequate and not excessive humidity levels and moisture levels within the terrarium.
Which, as we get a care sheet on this kind of new and exciting animal, you'll see the care sheets on the website.
Yep.
All that'll be covered.
So this particular male was actually getting darn close to what I would consider death's door. And now is a model of health here at the Leap Lab. So we have had him since, and don't have a note, or it's covered up. Well, I'm gonna say it was around end of December, and so about 5 months or so. And he did well, and then he kind of did bad. And now after treatment with Baytril, he's doing wonderfully. You can see he's got his polka dots, or razzle-dazzle colors, as we call them, because he got excited by the handling. These are not a chameleon species that I would consider one that you would want to handle on a daily basis. But what I do really enjoy about, first for Wilsii, the Canopy Chameleon, is that at any given point, they will be walking around their enclosure. And that makes for a really beautiful display animal, because you get to see them moving at all times. And I absolutely love the beauty and the ease of maintenance for the carpet chameleons, which we have on the other side of our room. But Wilsii are just active. They're just very active chameleons.
We have a snake species.
Yep.
Tim, let's talk about our new snake, because that is, a lot of people have been asking, can you do snakes in leap habitats? We're going to show you absolutely can. Maybe not the huge constrictor type snakes, but talk about the snake that we have.
Yeah,
Tim.
so we just recently acquired a stunning captive bred male of Goniosoma Boulangerie, and that is known as the Rhino Rat Snake. So let's see if he's under here. He's not, which means that he will be under here somewhere. And there he is. So this is an absolutely beautiful, docile, I mean, I'm just utterly in love with it.
And we're getting a second one, an adult.
Yep. We're gonna get a adult male Rhino Rat Snake. So that means he's transitioned to his green colors, which is probably how you would recognize this species. This look right now, the silver, brownish, tannish color with the flecks, is the juvenile color morph, and then they actually change to an adult color morph. And it's my understanding that at that time, their behaviors also change, and they become more semi-arboreal and less terrestrial of a species. So these guys at this age would be found in the rocks and leaves and sticks around a water source like a river.
Right.
And then as they get older, they will start moving up to the trees and live in the branches.
Well, and that's why we
vines.
have the habitat set up for the adult that we're getting with branches and trees and places for them to climb, because it will be an adult, and that's when they start transitioning into that more arboreal lifestyle, right?
Yep. So that's a good example of a terrarium that is brand new set up. We just planted it. We don't have even the misting system hooked up, but this is a Leap 22 by 17 by 24 inch, and we've spoken with our breeder, and he has given us the the okay on this size enclosure for an adult male, and we can always evaluate if we feel we should go larger. We could put him in a 22 by 17 by 36 inch terrarium, but this will give him some good wood to lay out on and climb. And the plant, this is a Philodendron, so this will actually vine more and produce more runners, which should happen reasonably quickly. Despite being a slow-growing species of plant, that should happen reasonably quickly with the amount of lighting and the living earth substrate that we provide.
So let's finish out the update tour, if you will, with over here.
Yep, this is our breeder carpet chameleon wall. So we're keeping individual carpet chameleons inside of 15 by 17 by 18 inch terrariums. And then on the top row, we put them in the full 24 inch height terrarium. So I would argue the top row is what I would recommend for a carpet chameleon, or larger even. It's a very appropriate size, but with our breeding animals, we have to maintain a decent number of them every year to ensure that we have enough breeding activity and enough egg laying to provide for the next generation of carpet chameleons, because they aren't a long-lived species. So we can't just have like two breeder pairs that produce eggs for 4 or 5 years at a time. We really need to make sure that if we can't acquire any other carpet chameleons from any other breeders, that we have enough carpet chameleons in-house to breed to keep going for next year. So that means, in our experience, about 24 animals. 24 breeders or 24 holdbacks for next year. So some of those will be most likely males from last year, and perhaps some females, and many of them will be new baby or sub-adults that will be breedable reasonably quickly.
Very cool. Final thing I want to talk about is the updates to our management system. We've kind of introduced this before. Have you changed anything in terms of your schedules? I know you mentioned that you cooled it down and now it's warmed back up.
So right now, this is actually showing that we're manually cycling the humidifier. So we turned it off of its schedule for noise while we shoot the video. But this is a Tamura Designs full industrial grade PLC controller. And what we have done now is both the photo period on a daily basis throughout the year is changing. So every day
sunrise is different.
Yeah, every day right now, the sunrise is beginning earlier and the sunset is beginning later.
As you move into summer.
As we move into the summer until we get to the summer solstice, then that will transition. at the same time, the room temperature levels are also getting warmer. Now, they're not getting warmer on a daily basis because the amount, we're only talking 5 to 7 degrees actually over the course of the whole season. So we don't even have the precision to control to that level.
It would be tenths or hundredths of a degree.
Yeah,
a day,
and the thermostats, they can't even actually measure that and control, and there's
Sure.
too much hysteresis and whiplash back and forth. But anyway, but we do change like maybe every 2 weeks or so. So we set it maybe half a degree warmer until we get to where we want to go.
And it's all controlled from here.
It's all controlled, it's all automated, everything's good. And the day and night humidity levels, so the humidifier changes to its nighttime humidity level when as the photo period is changing. So the humidifier is looking to the same table maintaining the photo period to know when to actually go into humidification mode. So we're at 65% humidity during the day. And we have a longer period of that during the summer. And then at night, we'll switch to about 85% humidity.
And that's all part of really kind of scientifically dialing this process in to provide the best animal care, and so we can provide you the best information on how to use,
Consider this like a scientific analysis of how we do that, but it's our attempt to prove that with precision control over your 5 parameters on a daily and seasonal basis, that you can actually trigger breeding and more easily in more species. And the Wilsii are an example of that. So we'll be, focusing and working on the Wilsii, hopefully having achieved the triggers.
And you mentioned the 5 parameters, and you talked about them here. When we go back up to the studio, as part of the giveaway, we have a full setup, and we're going to talk about those 5 parameters in terms of LEAP products so that you can start to do something similar to what we're doing here at home for a reasonable price. You don't need all of this to really start dialing those 5 parameters in and making them absolutely perfect. We're doing it so we can provide the best information, and maybe eventually you can get to the point where you do have your own big control system.
Or do it with timers. I mean, this is automatic, but it can be done.
Fancy timers.
Yeah, it can be done manually.
And so that's what we're providing the information. When we go back to the studio, we'll show you the 5 parameters, how they relate to our products, and we'll go from there. So
sounds great.
Thanks, Tim, for the update.
Thank you.
We will have more of these updates probably in just quick live streams and stuff in the future because we know you love seeing the animals. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you back in the studio.
Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. So I hope that there was a lot that you saw in that video that maybe you hadn't seen before, because a lot of it is new. So if you want to see the differences, also go check out the old one to see how far we've come. We do have the old walkthrough video that we did, and I think you'll see a big difference, especially with all the LEAP stuff. And I really hope that you liked the growth of the plants that is, you saw it in the video. This right here has been fantastic, but I don't want to skip too far ahead here. I want to say before I throw it over to Tim, we've received a lot of questions and we are going to answer those as soon as Tim talks a little bit. If you have any questions right now that you want answered by us, send them over in the live stream. We have Cade on the computer right now, and the super high-tech technology called, he's going to text me some questions so that I can read them for you. We don't have earpieces or anything. I think we need to get that in the budget so I can stand here and look like a Secret Service agent. So Tim, the big reason that we did this, again, we have this giveaway for LEAP is now live. You can buy it, and maybe one of you doesn't have to buy it, or maybe you'll get it and want to buy even more because you see how fun this stuff is. Tim is going to go through, we call this kind of the wet setup because it's already planted and everything, and it's everything you see in this pile here that we're going to be giving away to one lucky person. And Tim, what's the value of all of this?
So this all adds up to about $575, which is, that's a good solid setup. You could be ready to roll with any animal that you decide. A crested gecko would be great. Small chameleon, like a carpet chameleon, would be perfect. Gargoyle gecko, a baby of a different species, or maybe a small semi-arboreal snake like the Rhino Rat Snake that you saw in our reptile room tour.
This is a great starter setup for somebody just getting into reptiles, especially because you can do, I think, what may be the most popular right now, other than the bearded dragon, would be the crested gecko. Absolutely. We kind of call this the crested gecko Barbie dream house. Oh, I can't say Barbie. The crested gecko dream house. So Tim, talk us through the 5 parameters, how they relate to this setup, how you can use it if you happen to be the lucky winner of the full setup.
Sure, thanks, Jack. All right, so we've got a 15 by 17 depth by 24 inch tall, which is one up from our small size terrarium. And featured in this enclosure is our Leap Living Earth substrate layer, and you can see complete with all the root growth that has happened over the last month or so since we planted it. Now, just to be clear, this terrarium itself is not what we're giving away. We're giving away a fresh new setup, but this is here to show you what can be done with a leap habitat. In addition to the Living Earth substrate, we are including the LED bar, the T5 bar, as well as a 5.0 T5 bulb, a starter misting system, and a fogging unit, as well as a prototype part, which is shown up here, which is a custom clip to install the fogger very securely to the side of your Leap terrarium, and it makes for a beautiful display when the fogger is on, as you can see. And then, as you know, the misting system interfaces seamlessly to the top of the terrarium as well. So essentially what you're seeing here is a plug-and-play setup. The lighting is even on the included interconnect cable. So for this whole setup, you've only got 3 cords to plug everything in, and then it works. And if you notice from our setup, we did nothing fancy. There's no movie magic here. Everything is plugged in, and you can't see any of the cords. They're all routed behind the terrarium itself. And the misting system hose is also conveniently routed straight back.
Now, when you set this up the first time, what was your, if you had, for the person that wins this and maybe is a new keeper, what are your tips and tricks?
Tips and tricks, definitely watch some of our videos. We talk about substrate itself in our videos, our infotainment series of videos, which we'll get more on later. Definitely watch our videos, watch our setup videos. We'll have more by the time this launches. Notice, by the way, guys, you can see the fog coming out of the ventilation holes in the bottom of the terrarium, which is a real example of the chimney effect that actually happens with Leap terrariums. When the fogger's not on, the heat is actually sucked up in there and exhausts out the top. Yeah, I would say basically make sure you've got, depending on what you're keeping, I would choose a few robust tropical houseplants. I prefer to plant the plants toward the back of the terrarium. So you can see this larger plant, which someone has to know what this is because I'm not familiar with the species, and I apologize for that, but we love it, and it does very, very well in the Leap Living Earth substrate. But this plant is planted toward the back corner, and then we have this smaller umbrella plant planted kind of in the middle, and we've actually trained it to grow forward. And then we have a small branching type of ground cover plant as well that will eventually cover everything. But we do leave enough room for leaf litter toward the front of the terrarium, which is a big consideration when you're keeping bioactive critters. Your isopods, your springtails, they're all going to eat the leaves, they're going to eat the animal waste, and they're going to exist in that leaf litter layer.
Awesome. So do watch more of the videos, and we're going to talk about that after we do some questions. What's upcoming in terms of stuff you're going to see from Tim and myself and the whole Leap team. But thank you all for joining us here today. If any of you, by the way, in the YouTube live stream right now, have a Leap habitat, have a setup, have used the products, comment. Kay's going to send it to me. I really want to hear what you think of it. And also, please, as you guys get these, send us those pictures. We love to feature them on the Leap Habitats Instagram. Tag at Leap Habitats on Instagram. I don't care how you get it to us, but we love seeing what you guys are doing with this.
We'll share it.
Tim designed these products to be used, and he designed it because he's a reptile keeper and a reptile nerd. So give us some reptile nerd stuff to look at.
Yeah.
So we had some questions. Cade sent them over here. First off, shout out, happy birthday Housetop. If you're here, shout out, happy birthday Housetop. Thanks for joining us on your birthday. First off, is there going to be a larger misting system for multiple enclosures, more enclosures?
So I'm not allowed to talk about products that are in development until I'm allowed to talk about products that are in development. And I can't really comment on that one, but I can absolutely tell you that I recognize the need for one.
So, hint. Fogger, how many habitats can this fogger support? We just saw that it fogged this thing up
real quick.
Real quick.
Yep.
So clearly it can do more than just one habitat.
Yeah.
How many can it do? And
so that's a really good question. I like like seeing that question. Out of the box, the fogger can handle 2 different enclosures. It has 2 different tubes and a T. And then you would purchase a fogger clip for each terrarium separately to make the installation seamless. As of right now, that's all that the equipment, the accessories for the fogger will actually enable. However, the fogger itself is capable of putting out an enormous amount of fog. And so if you creatively plumb it on your own, or perhaps there's something that we might be able to create in the future.
Is there a center camera, David? Is there a known need for that in the hobby, Tim?
Yeah, I would say that you're not the only one to ask that question, and we absolutely have recognized the demand.
On the front of the terrarium itself, what is this made out of?
This is made out of PET, which is the same material, believe it or not, that the liner is made out of. It's just a thicker grade, and PET is a very inert, ultra recyclable plastic. It is the exact same material that your Poland Spring water bottles are made from.
And they want to know if it's going to scratch.
They don't scratch easily. Like any plastic, it can scratch. It could also be buffed, and it's also very inexpensive if you wanted to replace it.
Which again, if you watch a bunch of the stuff that we've done with Leap before and showing these off, I mean, I think we have video on video talking about the design of the actual habitat. That door comes off in like 2 minutes.
30 seconds, 20 seconds. There's a hole right below, right here, and all you need to do is get a small Allen key or something like that, and poke here. And basically, there's what we call the hinge pin that goes from the bottom to the top. It pokes up the top, pull it out, the whole door just comes off. That's it.
Breeder cages. People saw them in the walkthrough video.
So they're called nursery cages. A lot of people have shown interest. Your interest is noted.
And the flip side of that, larger.
Okay. Also, we've been talking about larger terrariums from the get-go. In fact, larger terrariums are one of the strengths of the Leap intellectual property with the corrugated plastic hybrid style enclosure, and we are absolutely working on larger enclosures. I'm not able to provide a timeline, but trust me, that is on our mind.
We know they're wanted, and in fact, we want some ourselves so that we can start keeping even more species ourselves here in the Leap Lab. So that the next walkthrough video we do
has more new stuff.
More new stuff. Yes, we do a lot of chameleons and geckos. We have interest in other stuff. We finally got a snake.
Yes.
The one that I'm really excited for, and I think we'll be doing a video here in the next little while. I really want dart frogs in my house.
Yeah.
Mostly so that my cats can sit there and watch and be tormented by their calling. But so I plan on doing a dart frog video here very soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
So in terms of expanding the animals that you guys get to see that we do, I know that especially when you're trying a new technology, because that's what this is. This is a new take on reptile keeping, and I know that there may be that little bit of like, we want to show you through our own examples that not only can you, but it works just as awesome as we've been saying it would. So if you have more species that you'd like to see, let us know so that we can make those videos, and keep your eye out for those videos coming up.
And I would also urge you to check out Living Art by Frank Payne on YouTube, who is an associate with Leap, and he is producing video content on his YouTube page going over the husbandry requirements for multiple different species. That content will be cross-posted onto our website, where there are also care sheets for all the animals that he's currently documented. And he has shown how he's maintaining mossy leaf-tailed geckos, anoles, large, beautiful anoles. I'm not sure exactly what species it is. I'm sure Frank knows exactly what it is.
I'm sure Frank's in the
obviously.
comments yelling at us.
Yes, sorry, Frank. And most importantly, some dart frogs, terribilis. He has been successfully keeping and bred inside of his Leap enclosure, and there are some little changes to how you set up the terrarium to facilitate a dart frog, but it's no different than how we set up any type of terrarium when we're setting up a terrarium. You have to build it for the animal that is going in.
And so you kind of went a perfect transition in talking about Frank and him working with the Leap brand. There were a bunch of questions, so I'm going to say this as a question and as you'll see. we are definitely going to be working with content creators in the future. Hopefully in the next few months you'll see some stuff from third-party content creators, maybe some people you already know and love very much. Again, I can't say who. But that's coming. And then in addition to that, we had a lot of questions about people who have retail stores or want to be a partner, whether it be an Instagram type influencer or something like that. What I can say there is we are a new brand, and as we build the brand, that's certainly something on our radar. Please reach out to us. And this goes for everything. I will say this again and again and again and again in every video I do. Please reach out to us. Not only do we just love to hear from you, send us a message. If you're a retailer, send us the message with who you are. Tell us a little bit about your store. We'd love to hear from you and certainly get you on that list of people that we're looking at talking to.
Yeah, one step at a time for right now, but we are collecting a list and we're checking it twice. So if you're interested in the product, now is the time to contact us. Now is the time to develop a relationship. We also do plan to make our way out to more trade shows over the next year.
Yes.
That's a big one. So we will be there in person, and if you know me personally, which some of the people in the audience do, I'm a social guy. I like to hang out. I like to talk reptiles. I like to talk shop. So I mean, a trade show is going to be a great opportunity to go over what the brand has.
And hopefully Tim lets me tag along to the trade shows. You can see that the camera, it actually adds 12 inches to my height. I'm actually the same height as Tim. So you guys can come meet us in person. You can come meet us in person. Living Earth, okay, 2 questions about this. Shelf life, does it expire? Larger sizes of bags for Living Earth. Living Earth, it's not dirt, it's substrate.
It's substrate. It's absolutely, this is not dirt. There's no shelf life. It's a really incredible product. There is some amount of biological activity that will go on in the bag. It's the kind of product that if you were to buy a lot of it, I would put it in a bucket. I would, open the bags, I'd put it in a bucket with a bigger air layer on top of it. That'll help keep it fresh for longer. You won't have to feed it. You're not gonna have to water it. If it does dry out, it will just cause it to not work as quickly in the terrarium as if it stays moist like it is inside the bag. But it won't be a problem. You'll just want to maybe pre-hydrate it before you add.
Cool. So I think we're good on questions here. Let's wrap up by talking a little bit about what you're going to see from us in the future and what our plans are, and I mean really kind of why we wanted to do this live stream and get this forward-facing you and I out there again.
Yep.
So the big thing that we're excited about is we got the total green light to go ahead. We're going to be making a lot more of the infotainment style videos. Yep. A lot more of these informal videos. Tim, what are you excited to see video-wise coming up?
So I'm really most excited for the infotainment videos. If you've been to our YouTube page, you've seen the various different infotainment videos that we've done. Some of them are kind of goofy, some of them, they're all educational, and we intend to do many, many more. So expect Jack and I to get a little more comfortable, a little better, more fun, more content. But what we want to do, and when Jack and I first started talking about, how can we get Leap out there to a lot of people, what I wanted to focus on was the best way to get people involved in the products is to actually educate them on how to successfully perform the hobby. So we started a series that we call our infotainment series, where we're teaching you guys what is misting and why do you do it? What are the best ways to do it? Fogging, same thing. Why are we fogging? Well, if I have this animal, do I need a fog versus that animal? Heat over a terrarium is another one. LED lightings. What's an LED light? Why am I not just using T5 fluorescent? What's a T5 fluorescent light? What's
Sure.
UV? There's a lot of topics that many of us as advanced hobbyists know inside and out, but it doesn't hurt to start from the beginning and walk everyone through it. And we do so using the 5-parameter approach to captive husbandry, which includes daylight, which we provide in the form of our LED, UV, which we provide in the form of our T5, heat, which is provided in the form of a heat light, not shown here, not launched onto the market yet, rainfall, and we use misting systems to create rainfall, and then lastly, humidity. Now, back when I was a beginning hobbyist, we used misting systems to create humidity within a terrarium. Nowadays, We separate rainfall from humidity, and we use a fogger. And there are ways to use these products depending on which animal you're keeping, and that's how we're providing you guys the care information on our website. If you go to the animals section on the top bar of our website, you'll see that we've got maybe 10 different species of animals listed, and there's more coming out every week, like 2 or 3. And we explain how to keep them in terms of the LEAP products, and then there will be a click to buy at the bottom as well, and a link to the video content that we're doing for each animal.
So the next one that's coming out, and the reason we shot this one and decided to do this one now is because of this giveaway. Someone's gonna have to set one of these up.
Yes.
And our real good friend Hillary, you can check her out on Instagram at Distillery, DISTALLRY, and whatever. You can find it, we'll link it.
We'll link it.
The point is, we wanted to show a full build start to finish for Aliciana's gecko.
Yep, giant gecko.
Giant, big old man, Mr.
Yeah.
Mittens. We
Sausage
mentioned him
boy.
earlier, Sausage Boy. And we go start to finish. So if you maybe want to make your own habitat, you can follow along with that. And that's going to be released next Thursday.
This Thursday.
This Thursday.
This Thursday.
Thursday.
And more good news after that, the announcement.
The announcement of the giveaway. So we wanted to put that video out there, give you some ideas so that when Friday at 3:30?
3:30 Eastern Daylight Time.
Yep, 3:30 in the afternoon on Friday.
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
And we'll
If
broadcast
you win,
it
don't
everywhere.
worry, we'll be
You're
sure to
gonna
message
know.
you. You'll know, don't. But do check the Instagram anyway, because hopefully it gave you some ideas watching Hillary's build for what you get to do with this setup right here. Beyond that, keep an eye out. We're gonna try and do every Thursday, have a new one of these videos every Thursday, and probably some more than that even. The full videos.
We're
every
gonna have a
Thursday.
minimum of 1 video a week, and then what I'd like to do is a more informal content type of perhaps a live interview or an Instagram live video. You know, short 10-minute live video in the reptile room
Yep.
or at home.
Yep.
Question answers, etc. So we are going to be all over social media, all over YouTube, and hopefully all over your guys' living rooms, because we really want you to get the product in hand.
Yep, and then obviously show it to us afterwards, because we're really proud of it and we hope that you are proud and want to show it off too.
Yep.
So with that, keep an eye out for the YouTube videos. Please, if you have any cool ideas, if you have any cool product shots, if you have any cool shots of just animals, I don't even...
Yeah, hashtag
just
Leap
show
Habitats.
us. Hashtag Leap Habitats, at Leap Habitats, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of that. And please tune in on Thursday, and don't forget to go, we linked it in the bottom, scnv.io/leap. It's also, I think, linked on our Instagram and lots of other places.
Yep.
Don't forget to enter if you want to win a full habitat setup, and maybe we'll do a video of that person's setup when it's all said and done.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Oh,
That would be really fun.
just had that idea right now. Okay, I just made more work for us. Great. So fantastic. Thanks for joining us here today, guys. We can't wait to see you again soon. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.